Hello there and welcome. I'm really glad to have you with me today because this is a very special kind of skill or knowledge in order to think correctly or think well, to think the right way, as many people would put it. We become what we think about. And most of the biggest thinkers, philosophers, quantum physics, smart people, intelligent people, they are disagreeing about many things actually in the world, but they all can agree to one thing, and that is that we become what we think about. Now, my good friend and mentor over many years, Bob Proctor, once said that after studying this information and working with it worldwide for close to 40 years, that's when he wrote this. He actually worked with it 55 years or something before he passed away a couple of years ago. I have now used it more than 30 years. He said, after having been working with it worldwide for close to 40, 50 years, I'm totally convinced the average person walking up and down the street has absolutely no idea of the awesome power that resides within them. You truly can create the world that you imagine when you believe it. Your belief about anything is based upon evaluation, and frequently, when you re-evaluate something, your belief will change. This is what we are doing when we are asking people to join us in Silly by Design, when we're asking people to have a look at our business, when we're asking them to go through an evaluation process, we very often need to help them with information, educate them during a process so that they are willing to re-evaluate their view on our business. Their beliefs would often change and they start seeing what this opportunity could be for them. So it is so that we become what we think about because the way we think will eventually determine the results we get. So we better learn then how to control our thinking, and this is what we suggest you do. This is a picture that was created by a chiropractor in 1930s. I think it was 1937 or 34 maybe, in San Antonio, Texas. He was frustrated because he had problems getting his patients or clients to understand um, the mind. And he said, well, it is actually natural that they don't understand because they don't have a picture of it. And we think in pictures, right? We use our imagination and we think in pictures. And therefore, he created this little person that he calls stick person that describes the mind in three parts. We have our conscious mind, we have our subconscious mind, and then we have our body. Now, our conscious mind is also called our thinking mind. That's what we think with. We can totally control what's going on here. We can decide whether we want to accept, reject, or even totally neglect any idea or thought that comes to our mind. Whether that thought is created inside us, that we did it ourselves, based on the paradigms we have, or if somebody else tries to put an idea in our head, right? So we can decide here, and we use our six mental muscles, faculties that we're going to talk about in a second, and we use that to think, to reason, and see. So that's one thing. But then once we accept a thought or idea, then it turns into the emotional mind. Then it goes through the thinking mind into the emotional mind, and there we cannot stop it. They have to accept. The emotional mind has to accept whatever the thinking mind gives to it. And whatever you think will cause then us to feel in a certain way. And our feelings are, of course, expressed in our through our body. So, in other words, you choose your thoughts, so do it carefully. Decide what to think about. A good friend of mine asked me one day, many years ago, he said, Oddman, have you thought about what you thought about today? And I said, that's brilliant. Have you thought about what you thought about? because whatever you choose to think about will cause your feelings. Your thoughts cause your feelings. Your feelings will be expressed, and they are expressed in actions, in what we do. And of course, it is our actions that produce our results. So if we don't like our results or want to improve our results, we need to go back and look at what our thoughts were. What did we think? How did we think in order to end up here with the current results? And then maybe change our thinking in order to get different results. Another way of looking at this is that we have 5 senses. We see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, and they are like 5 antennas on the top of our head. And that's where we take in all information. We get 35,000 thoughts and 50,000 impressions, or maybe the other way around. It's an enormous amount of information that is coming to us, either from ourselves, that we think about it, we originate a thought or idea, or we get it from somewhere else, from the TV, from the news, from what's going on in the world, from a journalist, from a friend, from a family member, from a parent, anyone. Try to impact what we think. So it's important that we use our 6 mental muscles that reside within our intellectual thinking mind. Those are perception, will, imagination, memory, intuition, and reasoning. And we usually use reasoning together with one of the others. Now, for example, if the perception, a prospect's perception is that the products are expensive, or that they don't have time to start this, or something else, then we can meet that objection, that question, by understanding where they're coming from, that they have a perception which we have to respect, but then we can challenge that by asking the right questions and make them re-evaluate their perception, right? So this goes very well, this training here goes very well with the training on how to handle objections and questions. Now, your will is defined as your ability to stay focused, working towards a goal without letting yourself be distracted by outside circumstances. For example, that the fact that there's a war and a few hundred people got killed somewhere. That's terrible, right? But if you have a strong will, you register what happened in that war, but you don't delve into it. You don't really go deep into it, because that doesn't help them, and it certainly doesn't help you or your team, that you become negative, right? So you train your will to stay focused on your way to the goal without letting yourself be distracted by anything, almost anything. Of course, if something happens with the family or something close, we are only human beings, but we can, to a large degree, use our will to stay steady towards our goal. Okay, that was a couple of examples. You can go very deep in this. I study this every day, think about it every day, use it every day in all kinds of situations. If a person says something and does something, I can always relate it to this picture here, and see if I can understand what's going on with them and how I can help them reevaluate their situation. So maybe they can choose to join us or do something else. Okay, so that is the stick person, and you set up a vibration in the body, making you consciously aware of how you feel. Your feelings then appear in the thinking mind. Now, if you came to me and asked, how are you today, Oddman, I would probably say, oh, thanks for asking, I'm good, I'm all right, how are you? I wouldn't say, oh, thank you for asking, today I'm consciously aware of the fact that I am in a positive vibration. I wouldn't say that, but that's exactly what is happening when you feel good. So the more you study this information, the more you look at yourself, right? As you continually apply this information, you will find yourself constantly reevaluating yourself every day. Your belief about what you are capable of doing with your life, with your business, with your relationships will keep changing, and your results will continually improve. Now, here's another way of helping people reevaluate a situation. And we use actually the opposite of what actually happened, because this is from the what they call the R rate, the reproduction rate of the COVID virus. And I compared that to, I picked that up and I compared it to network marketing. It is exactly the same, but opposite, right? Because the R rate, if that was 3, let's say they measured it to be 3, meaning that one person with the virus gave it to 3 others. These 3 gave it to 3, so they become 9. And then suddenly it's 2781, and it accelerates so that it goes up to almost 20,000, right? 20,000. Now, what they said was we need to get it down to 0.7. If we can get it down to an average of 0.7, then one person will give it to not a whole person. He has to meet a couple of people before he can give it to somebody. 0.7 average. Now, if they do the same, they will go to 0.49, 34, etc. It goes the other way. So it will kill the virus, in other words, and that's what they wanted to obtain. That's what they wanted to do. So therefore, what did they do? They gave people masks. They forbid people to leave their home. They forced more or less people to take vaccines, etc. And they managed to do what they wanted to do. They got rid of the virus, thank God, right? Now, in network marketing and in Silly by Design, we want to do the opposite. We want to increase the virus, right? So instead of having or inspiring people to find 3 business builders, for example, and come to 20,000, that's well enough. But what happens if you only go from 3 to 5? Then suddenly you have 2 million. 2 million people, right? Incredible. If you just do a little bit more up here, I mean, we have recruited in our team, the 3 of us, 60, 70 people, first line. And there's a pretty good chance that we will find 5 of them that really wants to do this, right? And if they do the same and duplicate that, I don't say we got to 2 million, but if we only succeed with 10% of it, that's even 200,000, right? So you can use this for many things. This picture alone had me reevaluate this opportunity, right? It could be even bigger than I thought it could be. So with that, guys, thank you for listening in, and we'll see you on the next video.